All right, we're
All
being
right.
recorded.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
everyone, to Tech Fridays. Today's April 2nd. My name is Jay Lever. My company is Total Speed, and we are here thanks to Greg Petrie's One Business Connection group. They sponsor this meeting, and today's topic is Google Voice. I've already done a preamble about it, but now I'm going to get into some of the tips and tricks of Google Voice. So if you're already familiar, you're in great shape. If you're not familiar, go to
Today
voice.google.com and get yourself a phone number. Yeah, Hazel.
is April 3rd. It's not the 2nd.
Oh, that's right. April 3rd. That's right.
Yeah,
My mistake. Thank you
I,
for
I
that.
I better
I had
correct
the date
that.
wrong.
Well,
Okay. So Google Voice is a service that Google offers. There's a free version and three paid versions, and it's essentially a voicemail system. What's cool about it is that it's not tied to your phone like normal voicemail services are. It's independent and it's web-based. And that means you can use it on any device. You can use it on a Mac, you can use it on Windows, you can use it on Linux, you can use it on an iPad, you can use it on an Android tablet, any device that you've got, it'll work. And it'll also work over the website. If you go to voice.google.com, you can do it right over the web. You don't even need an app. So that's very cool. And Zoom does that too. I like programs that don't force you to use a certain platform. So that's number one. Now, when you use it, you get a phone number. And my tip for that is rather than giving out that phone number, give out the number that you already have. Most of us already have a business number that we've been promoting. So why promote a new number? And as I mentioned earlier, with the free Google account, you can lose that. So if you tie your business to it and everyone has it and you lose the number, that's going to be a big drawback for your business. So, for example, I have the number 303-415-1000. You see it right there. See that number? That's my vanity number. And all that number does is it forwards to Google Voice. So nobody actually knows that I'm using Google Voice. Nobody knows that that's where it forwards to. But when they leave me a message, they're leaving it on Google Voice. And another cool thing about Google Voice is they have a do not disturb feature. It's just a box. You just check it. And when you check do not disturb, then all my calls go to voicemail. But all I have to do is uncheck do not disturb, and then my calls will come in and I can take them. So if I want to take calls, I can. Usually I don't because I've been in business for so long and my number is on my website and in my emails. So I get a lot of junk calls. And Google Voice has spam filters. They know when somebody's called. First of all, most people don't even leave messages if they're a spammer and they get voicemail. They know it's not going to go anywhere. So that gets rid of 90% of the junk. But people who do leave messages that are unsolicited, Google Voice knows that they're spammers and it marks it in red. And then you can click block the sender and confirm spam, and then you won't see them again. So I very rarely get false numbers or salespeople or any of that. And that saves me a lot of wasted time. So that's how I use Google Voice. And it's great because you can search it. It's great because you can copy the transcripts that it saves. It's great because you can copy the phone number if you want to make a call using a different program, including your phone. But one of the best things, as I mentioned to Hazel, is that because you can use any device you want, you can use a computer with a keyboard, which most phones don't have. And if you have a keyboard, obviously, if you know how to type, it's much more flexible. And as I was saying to Hazel, a lot of times I use texting, which Google Voice does. I didn't mention that. You can also send and receive text. And a lot of my customers contact me through text, especially if they're having a problem with their email, which is a service I offer. If they're having a problem with it, I can't email them and they can't email me. So texting saves the day. And Google Voice does texting. And if you're going to send a text, I find it much easier to bang it out on a keyboard than to have to dictate it or tap it, especially if I'm writing more than a sentence or two. I could spend a half an hour tapping out a message, with instructions on how to do something, but on a keyboard, I can knock it out in 2 or 3 minutes, the same message. So that feature of Google Voice is huge. And I love using it for calls. You can make conference calls and you can make calls from any device. Doesn't have to be your phone. So those are some great features. All of that is included in the free version. You're muted, Sandy.
What do the paid versions offer?
Honestly, I haven't used the paid versions, but I have looked into them a little bit. There are three different tiers. They start at $10. You can go to Google's website and you can read about everything. They have a chart that shows you what comes with each version. One thing you get with the paid version is 24/7 phone support. So if you need phone support, that can be very helpful. Obviously, then you're locking in your account. If you pay for it, they're not going to cancel you. With the free version, they can cancel you at any time. Um, the Google Voice also integrates with other Google services like the Google Contacts. One of the things I like about that is with your phone, you can't really edit that, but with Google Voice, you can. So when somebody calls me, let's say it's a new customer or a prospect, it'll show their caller ID, but I can go in and I can edit that. I can edit their caller ID and I can put their name or I can put how I met them or I can put call them back or whatever I want to put
Mm,
to remind me because I'm not always that good memory wise with lots of
mm.
customers. I'm pretty good, but not perfect. So I rely on my little notes that I put. So when a call comes in, it'll say Sandy Austin from Bionic. She's the one that helps kids in need and at risk. I know who you are. But if I didn't, and that I find to be very helpful. And I don't think you can do that with a regular phone. The only thing that I found about Google Voice that it doesn't let you do, and I think it does let you do it with the paid version, but not on the free version, you can't send videos. You can receive videos. Someone sends you a video, you can receive it and play it, but you can't record videos and send them. I have to use my phone voicemail for that.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't usually send videos to people. It's not a deal breaker. But that is one thing that I can do on my phone voicemail that I can't do with the Google voicemail. But I'm sure I could do it if I paid them for it.
Yeah. That's so helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's good to know.
Yeah, my pleasure. Let me take a look at my notes and see if there's anything else that's important.
Okay.
Um, Well, one important thing is it allows forwarding, as I mentioned, so I have it forwarding to my email. It has a feature for call screening. This is very cool. I don't know if a lot of voicemails have that. When somebody calls, you can turn on voice screening, and then it'll take their name and then or what they want to say, like, "Oh, it's Jay. I want to confirm my appointment at 6." And then you'll hear that, and then you can decide, do I want to take that call or send it to voicemail? So
Wow.
that's a pretty cool feature. That's called call screening. You can turn
Okay.
that on.
Okay.
Um, there are no ads, which is very nice because a lot of
Mhm.
free services are loaded with ads and they're trying to sell you stuff. Google is very cool about that. They don't do that. Um, and I would recommend going to YouTube and doing a search if you want to know more about the different paid versions because
Okay.
there's lots of videos that people have done where they compare that. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak,
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, appreciate that, Jay. That really helps to know
Yeah,
that.
well, I love turning people on to things that can help their business, help their lives, and especially when it's free.
Yeah. Oh,
How can you argue with that? I love to say, if you don't like it, just get a refund.
there you go. I love it. Great, great philosophy.
Yeah. I mean, not everything is free, and some things that are free are crap. But when you
Right.
find something that's free, that's a gem, I call it a gem,
Yeah.
that's something you can't live without.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's
Definitely.
still plenty of really good things, and Google is a purveyor of that. They give you an
Mm,
awful lot for free. Most
mm.
companies cripple things, so they let you try it out, but nothing really works, and then or it'll work for 7 days, and then you have to
Yes.
pay. And Google doesn't really like that. They're much more generous,
Good. Good. That's good to
and
know.
especially if you already use Google,
Hmm.
you already know. So all it
Yeah.
is one more thing to use. I actually have several Google Voice accounts. I have one for personal and one for business.
Wow. Wow.
That way I separate my messages. So I know whether someone's calling, if it's a friend or something, or whether it's um, a solicitor or something related to my business.
Yeah.
Then I have a third Google Voice account that I use for anonymous when I want to post comments or when I want to do something where I don't want people to know who I am. I have a
Ooh.
third account for that.
Ooh. Ooh. That's
It's
good to
also
know.
good, like, how, like, when you sign into services, they send you a code.
Yes.
It's great for stuff like that because you don't want your mobile phone to be inundated with junk. You want your
Yeah.
mobile phone to be used for the stuff you use it for your friends, your family, things like that. It's not
Yeah.
really that effective for a business,
Yeah.
especially if you have a lot of calls, to keep
Yeah.
your address book only on your phone or your messages only on your phone. People don't know how to make a backup of their phone. Anything happens to their phone, they lose all their messages. And that's just not, I don't recommend running a business
Mm.
that way, you
Yeah.
know?
That's not smart. Yeah.
And, excuse me for a second. I have a call. I have
You
to hang
bet.
up.
How you doing, Hazel?
Doing great. I'm,
Good.
I'm
How's
having,
the 96 years?
I've really been celebrated at this way.
Good, girl. You betcha. You earned it, girl. You did.
You, Hazel.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Let everybody take you out. Now's the time.
Yes. You betcha.
everybody's been so kind, and I've had so many accolades. It's just
Good.
unbelievable.
Good.
We're all proud of you, Hazel. We're all
We
jealous of you.
are.
Thank you.
We are. You made a great difference in this world, girl.
At the
Yeah.
restaurant, I went on a trip with the Aurora Center for Active Adults. I went on a trip with them and I didn't realize when I signed up that it happened to be on my birthday.
Ah,
Oh,
I thought, oh no. And so I went, and at noon we ate at this restaurant that's very famous. The trip was the mob tour, is what I
ah.
went on. And we were at
Oh,
Del Tano's restaurant, and they wouldn't let me pay for my meal. And they brought me a tiramisu for a dessert, and wouldn't let me pay
nice.
for anything.
I
So
love it.
I just
I love it.
really, that's the first time that had ever happened. Uh, they used to, years ago, I had a whole list of places that would give you a free meal on your birthday or 10 days after or something.
Yes.
But they're not doing it anymore. Some of them
Mm.
are not even in business anymore.
Oh.
Mm.
So I wasn't going to go anywhere to get a free meal, but I got one.
Yay. Good job.
It was really nice.
There you go. Keep celebrating. It's still the week. So, hey, girl, there
Yeah,
you go.
celebrating
Yeah.
all month.
Yeah. I wish I was there so I could take you out.
Well, that'd be great. We
There
can
you
do it
go.
later. We'll do it later.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Take a rain
That's a
check
good
on it.
idea. Yeah.
I'll take a rain
Yeah.
check for that one.
Well, while I have everyone, I thought maybe I would go over some ideas that I had for future topics. Let me know if any of these appeal to you or which ones appeal to you, because then I can move those up on the rotation. I just made a list of things. So see if any of these things appeal to you. Um, Using your YouTube channel to promote your business,
Mm-hmm.
which I use for testimonials. When people say nice things about my business or about me, I record the video and I put it up on my website, and I use YouTube for that. And that's free. I was thinking of doing a topic on Google Docs versus Microsoft Office, because there are a lot of people using Microsoft Office, but Microsoft Office is a service that you now have to rent. I'm talking
Mm.
about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all of those fun programs. Um,
Yes.
Used to be you could buy them, but Microsoft realized after years and years that people were not upgrading every year and they weren't
Uh,
making any more money. Somebody
uh,
was using a version of Word from 10 years ago and it's perfectly fine. Why
yeah.
should they upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So Microsoft a few years ago got the idea, well, we won't sell it anymore. We'll rent it to them, what I call renting, what they call
Mm.
subscriptions. So
Mm.
now you have to pay every month to use Microsoft Office. But if
Mm.
you use Google Docs, which does the same thing, it's free. And there are other services that are free. So if you don't want to pay for something every month that you can do for free just as well, Google
Mm.
Docs and I thought that that might be an interesting presentation. As I was
Mm.
saying before about free software, there's a really cool program called LibreOffice, and it comes with a lot of operating systems now, and it's a free office. It does everything Microsoft Office does.
Mm.
Interesting thing, now that we're having such political animosity with this administration, there are other countries that are refusing to use American software. Germany declared last week that they will not allow the German government to use Microsoft Office anymore. They're switching to an open version because
Wow.
they don't want to be tied to a company that has a proprietary product.
Mm,
And that's a lot of what people are doing. And I've done that. I've always done that. I don't like paying
mm,
for things if I don't have to. I'm cheap.
mm.
Okay. Another topic, how to share, because that's the name of the game with computers,
Mm,
sharing. How to
mhm.
share. Like, for example, my mother contacted me the other day. She said, Jay, you have an account. Can you buy this on Walmart and have them in purple? I have to be the, I said, Mom, why don't you just share it? She said, What do you mean? I said, You're looking at the ad right now, aren't you? She said, Yes. I said, See that little button on the side? That means share. And then you can send me the link, and then I'll have everything, the size, the quantity, the color, whatever it is you want. And you won't have to describe it to me, and you won't have to take a picture of it or any of that other nonsense that people do. So
Ah,
sharing could be a topic that we could discuss.
yeah.
Um,
That'd be good.
Here's one that I happen to like a lot. I am a fan of note takers and task managers. Are either of you, do you use programs like that to keep track of your shopping lists or your to-dos or your, things like that, your projects? Okay.
You
Well,
know, I don't do much of anything on my.
then you don't need this. Well, there are programs that are task programs like Google Tasks and Microsoft To-Dos. Those are two very popular ones, and they're both free. And they let you make lists and you can attach photos and different things like that. But the idea of them is that it's a great way to keep track of things you need to do or you need to remember. And you can move them up and down in whatever order you want. And you can assign them if a time, if they're time sensitive, like take out the garbage has to be done by tonight. Otherwise, it'll be too late,
Mhm.
that. I don't use them mostly for to-dos. I use them for notes. So, for example, at a meeting like this, when I go to Greg's meetings, there's always a few people that are new. Okay. What I do is I go to the chat, I copy their info, and then I add a task. It's not really a task, but they call it a task because it's a task program. So I add a task, I put the person's name, and then in the notes field, I put all the information about them, everything that they wrote in the chat, and then my own notes. I met them on April 3rd through one business connection. They were referred by so and so. And if they don't say what they do, I'll write down what they do. This person is an insurance broker. They represent Allstate, whatever, And then if I ever want to find them later, I can do a search for Allstate and I'll be able to find them. So
Mm,
I'm using it as a CRM,
mm.
really.
Wow.
And they have features where you could subdivide your notes or your tasks into folders. So I have a folder for prospects. And
Mm,
when a prospect signs up with me, now they get moved into the customer folder.
mm,
It's not a prospect anymore. So I have all my
mm,
prospects together and I can move them up and down by dragging and dropping if there are those that are more important.
mm,
Like Sandy, I want to make sure I get back to
mm,
Sandy. I'll drag and
mm,
drop you up to the top because you have a higher priority.
mm,
And I find this to be a fantastic way to keep track of all those things that you need to remember. They're way too much for a human being to ever remember. And they're free. So I thought that might be a good topic about task programs like that.
That'd be good. Yeah.
You like that one? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
You know
Email
what,
mail
Jay? I have a
list.
call coming in. I've
You
got to
gotta
go
go?
and take that.
Okay, go
Okay.
take it.
Take care, you guys. Have a good Easter if you celebrate that. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Jay,
Yeah.
for what you're
You too,
doing.
Sandy. Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
All right. Happy birthday again, Hazel.
Bye.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Oh, and here's another topic. This is something you might not know about, Hazel. E-wallets. Have you heard of an e-wallet?
Yes, I have heard
You
of it.
have. Yeah.
But
Remember the days of wallets?
yes,
I'm going to take everything you've been doing your whole life, Hazel, and show you how not to do it anymore.
I carry
Yeah,
one.
you leave the house, you have to grab your wallet. Your wallet has all your credit cards. God forbid you should lose it, and then you lose all your credit cards. You have to call all the credit card companies and stop the cards. They have to mail you new cards. Or if you're on a vacation, you lose your credit cards. These are things we all have to worry about.
Yeah.
Identity theft. If you give your credit card to a waitress and she goes into the other room, you don't know if she's taking a picture of it. You don't know if she's charging a house on your credit card. You don't know what's happening. That's why
Yeah.
a lot of restaurants now they bring the thing right to the table and they charge you right there. But either
Oh,
way, but with e-wallets, you can put your credit cards, and not just your credit cards, you can put any documents. Like, for example, I have an AARP card. AARP,
Uh-huh.
American Association of
Yeah.
Retired Persons. I have my AARP card in there. I have my health insurance card. These are things I carry in my wallet, right? In case I go to a
Yeah.
doctor, I have my health insurance card, and any other things like that. Driver's license, obviously. All those things that you put in your wallet. You can take a picture of them with your phone, and it has a feature for that, and it puts them into your e-wallet. Then all you need is your phone. Now, if you lose your phone,
You've been in
they
trouble.
can't. They're not going to be able to get into your phone like with a credit card. They can look at the number; it's right there. With a phone, they need your fingerprint, and so they're not going to get your info. But the nice thing about it is we're carrying our phones everywhere we go anyway. Who doesn't leave their house without their phone, right? I mean, that's so if you have your wallet in your phone, then you don't need to bring a wallet, and
Right.
nobody can steal it. Nobody can grab your number while you're driving or any of those things. So you have a lot of safety, and everybody takes them. I don't know any place that doesn't take them. And not only that, when you use an e-wallet, you get the receipt right on your device. You don't even need a receipt anymore. No more paper, no more receipts. That goes away too. It's funny because I'll use my e-wallet at a store or a coffee shop or whatever, and then they'll say, "How would you like your receipt? Would you like it on paper or would you like it on us to email you?" And I say, "Here, I already have it. Look." There it is. Or I can show it because I get it on my watch. I can say, "Look, here's my receipt. It's on my watch already." So no more paper, no more receipts. You can search for these things. It's all free. So again, another thing that makes your life easier, and it's free. It's the weirdest thing, Hazel, because my whole life I've always had a wallet and I put
Yeah.
coupons in there, and I put, all it's like they expand and you can't even fit them in your pocket anymore, right? No more. And everything is electric now, so I don't even bring keys. When I go to my house, I have a fingerprint on my door. I just touch my finger to my door and it unlocks.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
don't need my key. And my cars now are combination or they have fobs. You don't need a key anymore. And I love walking around without keys. Keys are they're inconvenient. If they're in
Yeah.
your pocket, they can poke you. You can lose them.
And they jingle and make noise.
All of that. Yeah. So when I leave the house, I have no keys. I have no wallet. I feel like I'm like, wait a minute. I left oh yeah, I don't need my wallet. I'm still thinking old school. Where's my wallet? Oh, I don't need my wallet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
I
even things
always,
like business cards. I used to carry business cards in my wallet, but you can just use you can just send that to people. You could do a barcode, lots of ways to do that. So I think e-wallets could be a good topic
yeah, I
that
think
people
so.
might not be aware of. And if it saves them from identity theft,
Boy,
hey,
that's
what a
great.
great tip that is.
Yeah. And that
Never lose your wallet ever again.
identity stuff is so serious and so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. So why pay a company $10 a month or whatever they charge so that if somebody gets your credit card, they can try to stop the abuse? Why not let them get your credit card in the first place and be done with it? That's
Mhm.
how I look at it.
Yeah, right.
I learned that years ago. You remember the movie Karate Kid? Do you
Uh-huh.
recall the movie Karate Kid? Mr. Miyagi, the Asian gentleman that was the teacher in that
Okay,
movie,
I can't
he said
remember that
something I've
part.
never forgotten that is so apropos. He said, "Best way avoid punch, no be there." Can't argue with logic like that. If you're not there, they can't punch you, no matter what. Right? Best way avoid car accident. Don't be in a car. You can't get hit.
Don't
You
be
know,
there. That's
there's
right.
certain things that you can avoid just by using that logic. It's so true. So best way not get your credit card stolen, don't carry a credit card. But how are you going to not get e-wallet? There you go.
Good. Good
So
idea.
those are a couple of topics I think that people could benefit from that they might not be aware of. And I've already covered a lot of good topics at previous meetings that I've done.
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we've gone past 10 o'clock, so I'm going to give you a tip. You may have heard this tip before, and then we'll end. Um, Here's a tip on how to get really high quality printouts without a printer. What is he talking about? How are you going to print something without a Jay is insane. Where does he come up with this crap? I'll tell you how. FedEx. You've heard of FedEx?
Yeah.
Okay, FedEx are all over the place, right? They're in every state, in every town, everywhere, right? Okay, FedEx has a service. It's not free, but it's cheap, where they give you an email address. The email address is um, printandgo@fedex.com. And what you do is anything that you want to have printed, say it's a website you want to print out or a document, maybe it's a lease. You work with real estate, you probably print out leases, things like that. Anything you need to print out, instead of printing it to your printer, you email it to that address, printandgo@fedex.com. That's their address, okay? A minute later, you'll get an automatic reply with a code. You go to any FedEx location anywhere in the world, doesn't even have to be in your town, doesn't matter where it is. It could be anywhere. You could be on a trip in Florida and you need a lease printed out. Great. Go to the nearest FedEx, they'll print it out. All you do is you show them the code, they print it out for you. And if it's black and white, it's 10 cents a page. And if it's color, it's, I don't know, a little more. But if you want to make brochures or flyers for your business, you want full color flyers, if you want to make a printout of a photo, you know, they can do all of that. And FedEx is a printing company. They know what they're doing. They give you really good quality printouts. I had a situation a few weeks ago where I had to return something and I had to print out a label. I don't have a printer. They send you the barcode, right?
Yeah.
Usually you just show the phone and they scan it, but for this, they were going to pick it up at my house. So I had to put the barcode, I had to put the label on the package, and I don't have a printer. So I I did what I told you. I took the printing label and I emailed it to FedEx and I went to FedEx and they printed it out and they said that'll be 13 cents. That's how much it is with tax. Hazel, can you imagine going to a store and paying 13 cents for something?
No.
Okay, now you can. But the guy at FedEx said, wait a minute, is this for a package? Is this like a packing slip? I said, yeah, it's to return a product. He goes, oh, we do that for free.
Well, how
Didn't
about
even
that?
have to pay him 13 cents. He waived the third. So this is the kind of thing I love turning people on to. Why spend money on a printer and have it sit on your desk and all it does is collect dust. And then by the time you use it, the toner is out and you have to buy a new toner and the toner makes a mess. And then that toner doesn't work. I once spent $65 on toner decades ago when I had a printer because Amazon had a sale and it was sitting on my desk. I didn't use it. And then finally, like 3 months later, I needed it, opened it up, and it didn't fit in my printer. It said guaranteed to fit my printer, didn't fit, and I couldn't return it because it
Oh,
was after 30 days.
yeah, yeah.
I was out 60. I said, that's it. This is bullshit. I don't need this crap. And ever since then, I've been paying FedEx 10 cents.
How about
Now, you have
that?
to go there. It's nice to have a printer in your house, but
Yeah.
hey, that small inconvenience,
Yeah.
you have a printer anywhere in the world that you happen to be,
That is
including color.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my tip of the day. The address is printandgo@fedex.com. As long as
Okay.
you can remember that or put that in your task program or your note program, printandgo@fedex.com. Just send whatever you want printed to that. You get a code and give them the code. They'll take it from there.
Well, thank you very
I'm
much.
all about making things easy. I'm all about saving people money. And if you could spend 10 cents for a page instead of spending $60 on toner, that's a lot more fun in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. I don't blame you. That's great. Okay, well,
And it's funny because these companies don't know how to promote that. Why isn't FedEx making ads and telling people about this? They get so many people into their store to buy whatever else they want to sell them. But these companies don't know what they have and they don't know how to sell and promote what they have. Even
yeah.
trillion-dollar companies like Google and Microsoft don't know how to promote their own products.
Huh.
That's why they have me.
Oh, I thought they
Hazel, thank you for coming. It's always a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you had a great birthday.
thank
Many,
you.
many more.
I hope I have a few more.
Oh, you will. You're gonna break 100, no problem.
I don't know about that.
I was so sad. What's the actress? Betty White. You know Betty White, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
She died just
she has
before she turned 100. Yeah.
like a month before,
Yeah.
like 1 month. People were already planning the biggest party ever in Hollywood for Betty White because she's been around, she's been acting since what, 80 years, 90 years,
She was so
she has
good.
a
I
repertoire.
loved her.
She's been
Yeah.
in everything. Everybody loves her. I mean, and she was so close. I was so sad. I was like, oh, Betty, just
I,
another 3 weeks, you would have made
another, I
it.
don't know what happened. What did she have a heart attack or what? I can't
Not
remember what
sure.
it
Hey,
was.
Google, what was the cause of death of Betty White?
The cause of death of Betty White was natural causes.
Oh,
Whatever that means.
that's all. Yeah.
I don't know what that
You
means.
forgot something.
All right, shut up.
Yeah. When they say natural causes, you really don't know what that means, whether that was a heart attack or what.
Well,
Okay.
sometimes
Well,
the families don't disclose it,
yeah,
so they don't want people to know.
I guess. Okay. Well,
But
thank you so much for what all you do. I appreciate you so
my
much.
pleasure, Hazel. Always keep me in mind. Anytime you need me, I'm there for you. You're my special project.
Thank you so much. I am a project. All right.
All right, I'm stopping the recording.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Hazel.
Bye-bye.